Alright, so I started with e4. He played e5, so I hopped the knight out. He defends, very normal. And then I play an Italian game, going for this pawn with ideas of hopping in. Oh, I'm making a chess video now. So he counters and is very high rated, but I decided to not play scared, and I'm going for an immediate attack with d4, leaving my e-pawn undefended because my knight can't go here. If his knight comes here, I have to potentially slowly defend that. But he decides to gambit this pawn, which is very dubious, but because he's like 100 points higher than me, I was, I think, 1999 going into this, and he was like 21, 20 something. He's choosing to play this very aggressive way. If I take, maybe then he strikes here, and the bishop has to back up, and he wins that back, and then when he castles, he has extra pressure on here. That's the idea, but I don't take, I just castle. Because now any tricks on this pawn are not gonna work, and I know his real strategy isn't to just take here. He does do that though, but now I can counter attack. So yes, there's often taking this as possible with the idea of this fork, and then if he takes en passant, the rook pins, and eventually I win that knight. My bishop is still strong. So that's what the computer sees, but I play the immediate d4 supported by c3, and that is saying you don't have time to take my knight because I will take your bishop, and if you take my knight, I want to recapture with the queen. Come here. So he takes en passant, and the beautiful thing about this position is I don't have to take back. I can sack my knight in the middle of the board. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this bishop is so strong and this king is so weak that my knight is actually in my own way. My queen would love to check the king and kind of coordinate with this bishop. I can't go this way because the knight comes out and forks the pieces. And then I can check, and then I can't really check again. Maybe I win a knight or something, but generally speaking, this is a problem, this knight. So first I go here, okay? The idea is that because I've castled so quickly with such rapid development, this rook e1 move is a real threat. So if he just takes back, I can just pin that knight, and if he tries to defend it, I can immediately attack it. Now I can't because of this pin, but generally speaking, or you know, this rook is super strong given that I've been getting my king safe, but also I have the threat. So like a queen here, for example, is never working, and I don't even have to waste a move on rook e1. I can just leave it hanging in the air, whereas his king is dying to get over there but can't because of my activity. If I play a slow move like last turn, if I play a slow move like winning this pawn back, he has time to develop this knight, which protects against this square, and gives him kind of time to castle. Now, it's more about d5 that I have to deal with, and then he castles, because otherwise he can't. But basically, the idea is if you take my free knight, not rook e1 right now, but queen h5 check. The reason is because this knight is now going to drop, and if you block the check this way, that would be a mate with this bishop. If you block here, I win the bishop, which is what I play in the game. Now, if he blocks like this, it's a check, and I'm winning the rook. So, you know, I thought there might be funny business here, but there's not. And this is just crushing. So you cannot block with the pawn because of this. And this is just a brutal attack. So that's why I sacrificed the knight, is because he can't take back. It says that's his best move because white's already winning, interestingly enough. So it's just a winning shot. The best move is for him to counterattack immediately. He needs to get that queen in the game and the bishop in the game while attacking my bishop. So now I have no threat. I have 2 pieces hanging. If I take him, he takes me, and then I can win a pawn or something. But that's the best move. Instead, I seize my opportunity, win the bishop for free. When you bring out a bishop aggressively like that, you have to try not to lose it. In fact, I thought the best move here would be to... Oh, it's because he's a check. If he wasn't in check, he would sack the bishop first and then block so that I'm not winning it for nothing. But he has to block the check and lose it for nothing. Anyways, now he develops his knight to here. I wonder if that's the best move. Yeah, he should play d6. If he plays d6, there's a rook check, which is uncomfortable. Because if you block with the knight, there's f4, isn't there? Oh, but I'm losing a queen, so I don't have time for f4. But I can play this with that. And if he tries to block, then f4, no? Oh, so there's a check there. Discovered check. That's why development is so important. So I would have to do this first and then like that and that, I guess. King d8. What if he just develops slowly? Already I can take there, so... But if he does that... Queen d4... What does that mean? Oh. Yeah, he can't castle. It's hard for him to develop. Now he could though, because my queen's not there. f4, but yeah, then comes f4. And that's the thematic idea of white playing aggressively with the king's pawn opening. It's called a guaco piano or something. Anyway. So I see this. I see that I've won the bishop. He did not plan for this, so I'm already... I have a bishop pair versus a pair of knights, and his king hasn't castled yet, and it still can't. So I immediately develop the bishop to g5. Again, still reserving my right to rook e1, pinning the knight to the queen. And so when he plays d6, I actually just drop this queen back to here, double pinning. So now it's an absolute and a relative pin on this knight. And the idea is, because I'm winning, this pawn is not going to promote. I'm going to kill it, and then I will be... I guess I'm not technically up material, but still, I'm trying to prevent his king from developing, or his knight, I guess. So then he attacks my bishop. Let's see what his best move was. Bishop f5 or h6. I like h6 a lot. So I guess the idea was taking, and then, wow. Oh. Yeah, knight f8 is a move that is insane. But basically there are lots of problems because of my f4 and rook e1 idea with the king still here. He didn't have time to castle because this is winning a queen. So h6 is a little too slow. And then If he tries to develop normally, same problem. Basically, I'm piling up on this pinned piece, and as soon as he castles, he's not... Well, he can't even castle, and even if he could, I have too many pieces attacking this knight. Says queen f3. And yeah, anytime... You've basically won the opening if he has to play a move like rook f8 or knight f8. But anyway, I decide here I'm just going to take this pawn because I'm not just winning the pawn back, I'm getting out of the attack, and I'm also attacking both knights now. So now the defender of this vulnerable piece is actually under attack. So if he played a move like h3 now or h6 now, I would take, and that would be a check, and he wouldn't be able to recapture. So he castles because he has successfully gotten me off of that diagonal, and he castles, and it looks like, okay, maybe he's okay. We both have 3 minor pieces. But because of he had to waste a move castling, and my king's already castled, and it's my turn, and I'm already developed, this is lost because of bishop takes this knight, because this knight cannot take back, because I will win his queen. And if he takes with the pawn, which is what I thought he would do in the game, I'm winning here. I was going to crash through here. And if he takes, I take, and then I'm just up a full knight. And if I want to take like this, my queen is defended, and so I get to win a rook. So then I'd be up a full rook. So that is why he took like that, and then I win the queen. And then I play the knight there. And it's really important that, even though I did this little trick in the opening by sacking a knight and then winning a bishop, it's the accuracy of the energy of the move, like from the Judith Polgar documentary, how Kasparov said she played with energy. This is energy. This is like, I'm coming for you. I'm not even wasting time on rook e1 because it's always an idea. And every step backwards is a step forwards because the bishop and queen are still good. And they're good enough. Like the queen is perfectly placed, and so is this bishop for this new tactical idea. And then here, you can lose this game still if you're not accurate. And so the accurate thing to do is develop your knight and connect your rooks. And so I play knight f3. He brings the bishop out, and before he has time to attack my queen, I play rook e1 finally, and now the rook and the queen prevent any attack because I will just sack the queen for the 2 rooks, and 2 rooks will be better than a minor piece. So he plays the king to help the 2 rooks so that my queen would actually die. And so here, very accurate, just go for the immediate check. He doesn't have time to attack my queen, and I get to win another piece. And he wants to preserve his pawn structure, so he takes back like this. Again, a lazy move would be check, but he's going to move, and then his rook's going to come here and be attacking. So I play queen g3 because I know his king's going to be here anyways. And now my queen's not misplaced. The bishop can never attack it. The rook can never attack it. And now I can just come in. And that's coming with an attack here, so he had to move a pawn. Here I double up rooks to get this inactive piece in the game. Also to prevent any problems. Like I was going to come in here thinking he cannot defend this, but then he can kind of perpetually harass my queen, which I don't want. So I figure first I'll have this going vertically so that when I come in horizontally, I can always have a vertical kind of check idea. But the bishop blocks for now, so I decide I'm going to swing the rook behind the queen. So when the queen comes to c7, the queen is in front. Because if I go in now, there's no way to guard this. But if I check here, the bishop blocks this. My queen's under attack. It needs to defend my rook. And so it seems like I just can't get out of that without losing my rook, which I don't want. And so that's why I play here, so that it looks like an attack on a pawn, but really when he moves it, it's queen c7 is resignation, because now the queen is in front of the rook and there is no defense available because he doesn't have a queen that can defend diagonally. And the bishop is looking at the wrong squares. So this is going to be a checkmate. And if he tries to run this way, it's still a checkmate because of this rook. But generally speaking, there's no way to challenge on this. Like, the bishop can't challenge because it would just be taken. So yeah, that's the game. And man, I played some really good games, but I kept running out of time and losing on time. Let me go back. Lost a lot of games on time today. What was it, the 15th? Yeah. I'm going to review all the games from today because they're all exciting attacking games. So here we get one where I decided to play d3 first. And then, oh, you just abandoned that one. Let me go back. February 15th. Okay. All right, so this was a good game. So he's attacking this, going for an early fork, and so I have to defend like that. And then the idea is this bishop is going to kill my knight, and then that's kind of the idea. But so first I just get this knight out of here, and then I have to move this knight, otherwise he will kill it, and then you know, come in with the queen or something. Basically, I'll just have a bad pawn structure over there, and it actually is kind of worth giving up this bishop when you get a knight on the edge like that, because it's just really easy to win those pawns in the endgame. So I hop back in, and then if I hop out and challenge this knight, I only have one pawn there. First, I challenge this bishop. And he comes in. I don't really like this. This is not really a good position for black. Kind of a weird opening by me. So I just decide to castle, and then puts a bishop on a good square. And then I play a6 with the idea of going here and then getting rid of my kind of weird knight. He brings his queen out. I bring my knight out. He takes. I take back. Now I have an active rook. And at least that's something I have out of the opening. Otherwise, I'm getting killed on the king side. And he is attacking right away. Good energetic move. And so I should plug the middle. I thought about this. It does give up a pawn. So if I hop in, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then it's actually really fascinating. I saw this in my mind's eye and thought, you know, maybe I'm playing f5 here, but I don't really like that opening up, and I don't think the queen is getting kicked, and this pawn is vulnerable, and you know, what exactly am I doing if I take? He always can like be taking back, and he just has a really good attack. And turns out, let's analyze this. Okay, so it turns out this is the best move because of f6 immediately, attacking the knight. And if the knight moves, I play e5. And if takes, it says rook a4. Wow, that's crazy. But let's just say I take. I guess rook a4 is the big idea, and then I end up winning the pawn on b5. But again, just so you see the position, if everything gets blown up in the center after sacking my knight or sacking that pawn for the sake of not getting checkmated and plugging up the middle, it turns out black is totally fine here with winning this pawn. Kind of scary. Queen d7. Well, I'm defending here, but I mean, so what I did in the game is I thought for a while, and I played this move because at least there's no immediate way to kill my knight or force it to move. But he brings another pawn so that when he pushes and I take, he takes back. Plus he's getting his rook. You know, there's checkmates down here. So now I panic and finally put it there. I'm willing to give up the pawn, but then he's playing anyways. And here I find a cool move, which is check, saying because you didn't go in for this, now you're in check and you can't block. He does block. There is, like, if he moves to the side, it's game over. So very powerful counterattack because I'm getting killed over here, so I have to use my space on the queen side, use this centralized knight. Why didn't he take there? Probably because he wants this bishop as a long-term threat, and he saw all that stuff in the middle. If he goes here, there's a devastating, you know, attack, winning the queen. So it's either checkmate or I'm winning the queen, just like outright. Here, yeah. But anyway, he blocks, and so I sack the knight. And he's supposed to castle here. While the pin is broken by my own knight, he's supposed to castle or move the king. But instead, he doesn't take the knight. If he takes the knight, I come in and I'm checking and winning a rook, because if he tries to like defend his rook, I figured I had a check, and the king is forced onto the back row, and then I win a rook. So anyway, he goes here, threatening to, like, you know, come down and checkmate me or something. But this doesn't work because, and it's interesting, knight b1 is the best move, and I find it somehow it felt right instead of going here. But the idea is it's a double check. You still can't move the king, or you get mated here. You can't go this, so you can't go that way because it's checkmate still, and you can't go this way because I win the queen. So knight b1 is a crafty move. It's also cutting off the communication of that rook so that I can do stuff in the back row. So he goes there. I check. And here I would be killing the queen, but my queen is in her own way. And so here I took the bishop with check but I forgot that his knight is here. But it's not a horrible move because I still can win the queen. So he doesn't take. Turns out my bishop's hanging at the end of that line, which is why it doesn't work. But he didn't see that, so he made a run for it. And now I, first I want my queen stable here, so I take the knight. And then I attack the queen with my knight. And now I'm kind of like going to check here and be winning. So I've stopped this mating attack by sacking my knight with the check idea, and he made some inaccuracies. But I'm low on time, and then so here I go back. He was threatening mate. I take, and I play rook f5. I play the knight back. The knight is really good here. But I bring it here with this idea, and then when he pushes it forward, I could keep attacking it. There's a lot of ways I could have played with that knight, but I decide I'm going to bring it back because I don't have a lot of time to think, and then I'm going to win this pawn with my king because this is breaking the pin, and then my king will defend this pawn. He moves his king, though, and he doesn't go to the back row. He goes to the second row. So instead of winning this pawn, which is a good move, I play the best move, which is rook takes here, because now I'm threatening to check because of where the king is. So he doesn't really have time to do anything. He comes down, and now it's a double attack on my knight, and the real threat is that the pawn comes down and says checkmate. Because I can't go to the side, and if I go here, there's another queen being made. So that's a real big problem, especially since my knight is not stable, because it's double attacked. But he has to deal with my rooks attacking now from the side. So he's being attacked. So he goes there, and then I have this knight check, and this is all with like no time, you know. So I find this knight check, and then I realize I kind of have like a mating net here where the pawn defends the rook, so his king can't kill that, and the rook defends the knight, so his king can't kill that, and the knight is defending the retreat, and so he only has one move, which is there. So I check, and the bishop cannot block because I will take it because the knight is protecting that. And so I thought he was going to get mated here, and he has no good moves. He goes here, that's his only move, and now I can win the rook for free. So I've successfully won the game, but I only have 23 seconds left to checkmate him. He only has 2 pieces, and I have 4, plus I'm winning on pawns, plus this pawn's going to fall. But I only have 23 seconds, and I just choked because of this great move by him coming in. This is my one vulnerability, is I don't want to lose this bishop. The thing is I could just lose that bishop because of how much I'm winning. I also saw that I wanted to checkmate him, but this bishop actually blocks the check. It doesn't block this check, which I missed, so I should check with this rook. But even there's no mate. The king actually kind of like hangs out, and there's no good way to checkmate it because of this super annoying bishop, and there's no way to kill the bishop without losing a rook. So I decide to eventually kill it with my rook, but I should check, and I also should win this pawn, because the theme I didn't see is because I panicked because I know his next move is here, and he's winning a rook with check and then queening. So what I should do is kill this pawn, preventing, because the rook can't get back to solidify my position because this pawn, and the king can't kill the pawn and get out of the pin. But the correct operation is to take with the knight, assuming you don't find this check. The correct thing to think about is to take this knight, and then when the rook comes here, now this square is available for my rook, and now I'm completely perfect. And even with 20 seconds left, I can win this game because there's no moves he can make that are relevant to my plans, and I can just move without thinking about it. but instead I took the bishop because it was too annoying, and then I have a check here, but I went here. Yeah, I definitely should check there first, but I thought even if I check there and he goes back, I'm not winning this pawn because same issue if he comes down here, I can't use this square. So I'm like, let me kill this pawn. And then when he comes back, I will defend my bishop like this. And then now black is winning. Sorry. But it took me too long to do that, and it's not easy to move in 6 seconds. Like this knight, it doesn't really need to win this pawn cleanly, even though it can. It can sack itself for this pawn, or the king can just defend that, and it can go win this this pawn. I don't even need to win pawns. So this pawn should just go promote. But anyway, I just don't have time, so I lose. And here, white has no chance. The king is always getting back. The rook defends laterally in an emergency, and the knight is really bad, but it's good enough to prevent the king from coming in. Anyway, also this pawn can go up the board and it can't be stopped. It's protected by the rook. The rook doesn't have to move. So anyway, I messed that up, but I thought it was a good I thought it was a cool little mating net here where I ended up winning the rook. I thought that was a cool game, but he outplayed me and won on time. High rated guy. Okay, so then I played another one. So here we have a Sicilian where he's playing aggressively with this king's pawn, and I didn't really know what to do to that other than just let him do it. But then once he's attacking here, I played this move so that my knight would have a spot to go here, and when he takes and I take back, he moves his king, or she moves her king, and I just decide to take here because if he takes and then there's some check, maybe that's bad, so I just take and I just play bishop e7 because I'm getting out of the opening alive, and I think I have a good enough center. So castle, attack his bishop. He comes in she comes in with an attack. My first instinct is to push this pawn to get this bishop going, but then there's a bishop move that threatens checkmate, and I can't take it. And if I push g6, he wins my rook. So first I play king h8, best move. And he goes there. I play d5 anyways because the pawns are not as important as the bishop. He plays this she plays this really bad move, knight back. It's too slow. My bishop is really good here. I should win this game. I was gonna like play queen up, but the queen is defending a mate. But first I play f5 with the idea of stopping the knight coming in because I don't want my bishop to be blocked. So I play f5, and I also think if he takes, f6 is actually the best computer move, and f5 is the second best. f6 to just take this annoying pawn out of the game. I was hoping he would take en passant, and then I would develop the bishop, and then he has nothing. I should have realized that this pawn is what's annoying me the most. Because I've pushed d5, it's hard to support this pawn, so I should attack it with my own pawn, and once those pawns are eliminated, I think my bishop pair is better. Anyway, she goes on this side, and this is where I should think, and I play an attack on the knight, and the knight comes in, just further utilizing this queen, bishop even, and this stupid pawn that I hate. And this is a really bad move because I didn't really see that idea. It's happening whether I like it or not. So, but the best move is yeah, the best move is attacking the queen, and the bishop is actually really good there. Also, I thought this move was really bad because this bishop and knight, or this bishop and queen were preventing my bishop from developing. But now the knight's in the way, so I can harass this queen and control this whole diagonal. But I decided to play that move to keep this bishop alive. And then here is where I should attack the queen. And then I can develop my queen and be better positioned. Instead, I let the knight come in here. I take it, and I think maybe I can win this, but his bishop develops. And now I realize it's actually really hard to win this back because I don't have any knights, and I don't want to give up a rook for the bishop. So this pawn is actually a real big problem. So I try to win over here, and it doesn't work because he just attacks my queen, and he's gonna recapture that way. We trade queens. He takes back that way because he can't go with the bishop without losing this pawn. So I play over here, trying to take here to lower the bishop back. He takes, I take, and I have nothing on the king side in an awful situation, so I'm trying to open up the queen side. And I play the best move, bishop here, trying to win this pawn. But he attacks this, so I defend. He defends that. And I play the rook here with the idea of preventing this pawn from moving so that I can start to move this pawn up here. And my main idea is to win this pawn with a horizontal rook. He claims the open file. I move the king. He comes down. I go here. I want to maintain this diagonal. He wins a pawn, but now I take the file. And that's an endgame lesson, is like sometimes when your opponent thinks he's winning by winning a pawn, he's actually giving up a file, which is more valuable than a pawn, because now the rook would be really good there. But anyway, I avoid this trade because if I take, he takes back. And now I take the file again, and I guess I'm happy with the draw. He decides to win a pawn again, but now I've successfully infiltrated. So if he defends, I just win this pawn back, and I have a more active rook. But he moves the king. He gets checked, or she gets checked. If she goes here, it's checkmate. So she has to go this way. Unfortunately, there's no rook I'm winning or anything. So I play f5. The idea of f5 is to play f6, protect my rook this way so that I do have a check if his rook decides to move or something. He moves down here. I take. That's what this rook was doing there, is guarding the most advanced pawn. Finally, I kill it. He takes this pawn, and that doesn't work because I pin. And so black is winning, but I have 20 seconds. She has 4 minutes. So, but I am pretty close to checkmate. She plays a pawn push. I take with check. I'm defending this. So what do? I check, and then I win the rook. So because the king has been checked, it can't go up the board. It can't kill this. So she had no choice but to allow me this check, and then I'm winning this rook for free. So black is dominating here, and I only have 11 seconds, so I understand why I didn't win, but I am winning with the pawn move. This situation is hard to calculate with 10 seconds, but basically, black is winning no matter what because of the amount of pieces I have. There's no bad move I could make, but the best move is to defend the rook, because if I move the bishop here, for example, this is winning for black, but it's not good enough to win quickly. Like if I do like a check, the king, you know, just wins my bishop. If I this is a double attack, plus he's got the rook too. If I check like this, defending the bishop, he wins my rook. If I defend my rook, this is the best, because although I'm dropping a bishop, it leaves him with no way to fight back against my rook, and I'm going to very quickly just at least secure a draw. So he actually cannot win anything at all if I just defend my rook. Even a move like this, there's no way he can ever take without losing his only piece. So that's the, instead of trying to save both, that's what I should have done. So what did I do? I did oh yeah, because I had such few time, I just checked and I blundered this rook. But I am winning this pawn, and I'm attacking this pawn, and my rook's pretty active. But yeah, that was really stupid of me. Yeah, and then here, I just have no time. But if I try to go checkmate him somehow, the rook is enough to annoy me. So that was that game. Okay, and then there's this one. All right. Oh, this was a really fun game. So this guy's 2071. Plays B5 on the first move for black. Offering a free pawn to my bishop. I don't take, I just play queen's pawn. He plays this. I'm not taking the bait. I develop normally. He plays c5. At that point, I decide to take, because now I feel like, okay, maybe if I take super early, he has plans. But here, I've developed enough to where I can castle pretty shortly. And this actually helps me castle. And because my knight's already developed, I feel safe. He takes in the center. Take back, defending my vulnerable bishop. He attacks my knight, and so I have to think here. And I decide to prevent any queen check, which would win my bishop after he takes this knight with knight c3. Then he develops the queen to b6. And this is a threat on my knight. If I move the knight, he's taking on f2 with a check. So how do I defend my knight? And I actually had to think here for a very long time before finding knight a4. Yeah, I thought for like a minute. Knight a4 looks like it might not work because I'm not defending this knight, but I'm attacking the queen. And normally, when you play knight a4, the queen would just take this bishop, but because I have two knights involved, this bishop is not vulnerable, so the queen cannot take there. And the bishop cannot take here or I win the queen. So the queen also cannot check here. It does check there, but it can't because I have a counterattack. And this bishop actually defends this knight. Again, normally when a queen checks here, it can win this knight. But the bishop is defended. Everything's defended. I calculated this. He goes back to here. And I win his bishop. He wins it back. And out of the opening, it's just a queen playing against 3 minors. I have the center, and I can castle. So white is completely dominating here, and I haven't spent too much time. But he's much high rated, and so here I thought for 2 minutes. Probably shouldn't have thought for that long, but there was no easy way to handle this because this queen's actually attacking my knight. And if I move my knight, it's double attacking. It's winning. It's killing the bishop. I don't want to just give the bishop up and then hop back because he just develops and is winning. I can't like attack because I don't know what to do. And if I attack the queen, he just wins the knight. The knight is just not defended by my queen. So maybe I move the bishop, right? But if I move the bishop, he actually has a check here and then wins this undefended pawn. So he's attacking all 3 of these pieces. So it's a very interesting b5 makes this bishop so vulnerable. That's the idea of that gambit. So I find the best move probably queen e2. It defends the bishop twice. It gives up. It offers the knight. This is why I thought for so long. It's sacrificing my knight. If he takes the knight. Let me go into analysis mode. If he takes the knight, queen e2, one of the best moves. Bishop, I thought he had this. c3 takes castle. Wow. Yeah, so the pro way to deal with this is give him all the pawns and just say your queen is misplaced because I'm winning this bishop. Anyway, that is the first thought that occurred to me and probably what I should have played. Instead, I decided to be tricky, offer this knight, because if he takes here, I thought bishop c3 wins the game on the spot. This queen cannot retreat in a way that prevents me from winning this rook. So the queen would go back. I was worried about my bishop, but the queen actually defends the bishop. And then I'm taking here, and there's no way to develop without losing this rook. There's just no way to stop bishop takes rook. And then white would just be completely winning. Also, this defends this. I can castle. I'm winning this. This can come back. It's just over. He sees that, though. Develops his knight. Now this is a real threat. So I have the same problem. So, and e5 is the best move. I looked at e5 for a long time. His main threat, which is also super annoying, if I don't play an accurate move here, not only does he have this threat, he also has this threat, making my knight move and then winning the bishop. So that's why I defend the bishop with this is my solution, to defend the bishop a second time so that the knight can move if there's e5, and if queen immediately takes the knight, I have bishop c3. But now the knight is here, so I have to calculate all over again. And I decide to play c3. Now I'm defended everything. I can't play bishop here because it disconnects from the, like I thought bishop e3 here, there's a knight takes, and then even though I'm attacking like this, I don't like this knight. I'm afraid of this knight. So I guess I'm supposed to just kick it. Or you can just immediately take. But then there's always any discovery I try to do, he always can check his way out of it. You know? And then he's got this knight. So apparently, you know, black's equalizing there, and if the correct move is to throw in my own check, yeah, pretty tricky. So I just play the simple c3, saying I'm winning, but I'm losing on time. He castles. e5 is the best move to stop it. I castle. He still doesn't play e5. We're both not playing it. He plays a4 or a5 because this rook is bad, so I guess he's getting it out. And here I didn't know what to do. I played h4. It's not a very good move. And he finally plays e5, and I get my knight into here. The h-pawn and the knight and maybe the queen, maybe the bishop are coming. But he's taking this pawn in the center, and the idea of that is my queen is overloaded. I cannot take back without losing my bishop. And he's being greedy, and I should accept because it comes with an attack on this rook, which I missed. So instead, I defended my bishop so that this is now a real threat, and if you move back, you know, the bishop can take you and open up your king, and then there's a checkmate or something. He takes here. I take back. He plays d5, and the game is over if I utilize this royal fork. I don't have this square available, but if I take here with the queen, it's attacking the rook, and if he takes me, I check, and then I'm winning. I have developed two pieces and won a pawn, and I just am gonna win. But I didn't see that. So this pawn, he's not allowed to do this. I didn't even see the attack on my knight, but I luckily I played here thinking, well, this is a checkmate. I'm defending the knight. If he tries to move, there's more checks. I won't, you know, but then he just takes the knight, and I just didn't see that. And then so I take back, and white is still better because of his stupid opening. White is still better by a lot. Here the game should be just over with I bring my rooks to the party. He cannot defend this center. The knight can't even develop with the bishop and the queen. The knight can't develop, which means the rook can't develop, and this queen is just very easily attacked. But he's got an attack here, and I guess I was just seeing ghosts. I think honestly, it's when people are rated higher than me, I just respect them too much because this does not need to be defended. I play g3 because I'm like, I don't want his queen to just come in. That gives him time to develop the bishop or develop the knight here and here. If I play more energetically, I'm winning this pawn, but he's gonna take there. But that doesn't actually, it's not actually good enough because then I just win the center, and then I can actually use his queen to attack. So yeah, I play g6, g3, horrible move. Then I finally developed a rook. He plays his f6 idea, and his queen is stopping any check that I was going to do. So I developed this rook. The bishop here and the rook should be enough to win the game. But now he's back in time, kind of. So I go back here. I was going to attack the rook and try to win this with check, but it's just, I don't want to give up my bishop for this knight. He plays here, and at this point, I was 100% thinking sacrifice. Sacrifice, he can't take back. If he takes back, I thought I was looking at this move, which wins the knight, and I'm thinking this pawn isn't going anywhere. But he has the ridiculous queen e6 here, which attacks my unprotected queen. And if I take, his knight saves itself. And I don't have time to kill his knight because he just wins my queen. So I didn't see that defense, but I saw enough of a defense for him to where I didn't want to go in for this. But the correct move is to take first, and this queen actually has 0 squares. There is nowhere safe the queen can go except f7, which gets hit with the same idea, rook d7, and now you are dead. There's nothing to be done. If you go here, this knight is hanging, so I take the queen, you have to take back, I win the knight, and it's a simple rook end game where I'm up 2 pawns with a better structure, better king, easy win, more activity. There's no way I lose this game, and yet because my playstyle is to be low on time in a superior position and try to checkmate, it's just not, it doesn't work against good players sometimes, because with 1 minute left, I don't want to go in for a rook end game even though I'm winning. I wanted a checkmate here or something. So I played the H pawn up after I ran out of time. I mean, I should have just gone in for it. But yeah. Then he's threatening the queen. Queen e6. Oh, it says just take the queen. I avoid it because I'm trying to checkmate. And then here I had one more interesting thing. Let's say he like plays that. My idea now was to take like this. Hold on. Let me think of a different dummy move. Let's say he plays like this. My idea here was rook takes, and if he takes back with the queen, he can't because I'll kill it. And if he takes back this way, I was gonna play this move, and although I've sacrificed a rook, I've gotten this killer pin. And if he takes, maybe now I can try to checkmate, but even now it's like I only have 10 seconds. Probably not going to win that. So stupid plan. He didn't fall for it. Here I moved the king with the idea of bringing the rook over, but he has successfully blocked this thing. So all game, his center, I should have been sacrificing pieces or winning the center, and I just never won the center. So he played a weird opening, and I was killing him. But here you gotta identify these tactics. So yeah, lost that. Okay, and then this is the worst draw I've ever had in my life. This should have been a win. It was honestly, I was winning by so much, I stopped paying attention. And he just drew me. I was actually lucky to get a draw. So, but I'm sure it was a good game leading up to that. So, it's called a semi-terrace, I guess. And so here, the idea here is it's kind of like a Queen's Gambit declined, and I'm playing kind of like a Sicilian, kind of like a French, and I take, he takes with a knight, I develop my knight, saying if you take me, I'll take back, I have a strong center, he takes in the middle, and I don't take with the pawn because then I would have an isolated queen pawn. So I take with the knight, but then he's pinning this knight. So I unpin. He castles, and then I decide to take his knight with the idea of creating an isolated pawn for me to attack on the c file. Okay, so then I go to castle, but now his queen is kind of close to me. Brings his other rook. I attack his knight with an attack on the queen. I thought this was a winning idea, but it sucks because he takes a knight and he's attacking my queen. So I guess I should have developed the queen first. I take his queen. He takes my queen with the rook. Because I don't know. I mean, I was thinking of a lot of different things here, but I think he actually makes the right move. But here I realized this knight is protecting this, but I can just take it with the bishop. The knight is also threatening the bishop with check, but I can just take this, and now I should just be winning. because the knight's under attack. I take back. He has 2 bishops, but I have 2 rooks, so black is just better. Plus I have this target. So I win here. I honestly was expecting him to resign. He gets a little like check in. I take his bishop, take some pawns. And then at this point in the game, black just has absolutely no chance of losing. This bishop cannot actually check. The rook is gonna, I have an extra rook and I have way more pawns. So how do I draw this? Well, I'm down on time a little bit, but he comes in to try to like check here, but I just take this pawn. There's nothing happening. I'm also, if I can get this rook over here, I can just ladder mate him. I have all my pieces on light squares, so this bishop is totally doing nothing. And his rook doesn't really know what to do because my only weaknesses are pretty much defended. So then I start to try to go queen, and then he checks me, and I had to go up. So I think this is where I went wrong. I probably should go over here. But I blocked my own rook. And then he brings this back, and I just go try to queen. And what I hated here, I only have 1:30. What I absolutely hated here is I wanted to queen, and when the king takes, I wanted to move the king, which would be a discovered check. And so I wanted to move the king and kill the rook. But this bishop cuts out my king, and this rook cuts out this. So I cannot attack this rook as much as I would like to. And if I try to go this way, I don't know, but I literally just gave him my rook here. And he just took it. So his little hidden bishop just took it. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, that was really the worst move I could have played, but I'm still winning. But now he has an extra piece. So although I have like 1,000,000 pawns, I don't have a lot of time, and I have to try to win. Anyway, I just played this move. He wins this pawn, which sucks, but I could just never figure out how to move this king. So I start marching up the board. Then here I attack his bishop, threaten it, double attack it. He wins another pawn. Now I have so many pawns. I'm gonna go queen and checkmate him. And I'm losing all my pawns, but this is actually the correct plan for black. Then I check. If he had taken me, I get a queen. Here I get a queen, and now it's rook and pawn against bishop, but I only have 30 seconds. I defend my pawn. He's gonna go win it, which is super annoying. So I try to get a checkmate threat. Now that the king, during the process of winning this, if my king is just in La La Land and I take this bishop, he takes back and it's a draw. But I'm trying to checkmate, so the king is preventing the king from moving so that the rook can swing around and deliver a checkmate. So here I try to checkmate. If you move the bishop, there's just a checkmate. But he stops the checkmate. So I check, he goes back, and then I do that again, and I'm thinking, okay, well, let's just take a draw because I only have 7 seconds. But then he goes over here. And just so you know, the correct way to win is go down here and try to checkmate this way, because he actually cannot hold on to this bishop and he can't move the bishop. If he tries to move the bishop, there's always a checkmate where the bishop has to come back, and then I zuck swing him with just little moves with the rook, and the bishop is not legally allowed to move. The king cannot get out of the pin, so the king just goes here, and then from here it's just a rook, and I'll checkmate him. So you have to, in order to checkmate, you have to win the bishop first, basically. Anyway, he tries to block like this to avoid the repetition, but now I zuck swing him where again you legally cannot move the bishop, and the king cannot move anywhere that defends the bishop, so he has to give it up. And then at this point, I have 1 second to 3 minutes, so it's a draw because I can't checkmate him in time. So that was just me blundering and then finding a draw, but horrible game. Other than, like, I don't know, frustrating. Okay, now let's see this guy. Yeah, this was just a horrible game by me. I just decided to try as an experiment to attack this bishop and try to gain space on the queen side. But this rook is undefended, so I actually can't take back. So it's just a horrible plan. So he wins 2 pawns. I can win this pawn back, but again, any tension here between his rook that's undefended, he'll just take my rook. So I take with the knight. I have no threat. All I have is an advanced pawn, but I'm down a pawn and I just have a weird position. Here I give up my knight and a pawn just to try to do something. And then here his knight is kind of fighting for this and threatening that, and I attack the rook. The rook goes back. Now I'm threatening, maybe I kill this knight and I come in and I check, and then when the king moves I check, and then the king moves and then I win this pawn and I win the game. Very common, but this knight actually replaces this knight, and there's just no good, like maybe now I should come in and then, because he can't take, because then I'll take here and then do the plan. So that's probably what I should have done. But it's his move, and he goes here, blocks my thing, and he's threatening my bishop. I play f6. If he takes, I think I was just going to take back with the knight. This is just a horrible game by black. I really hate this game. Then he sacks for no reason. And, you know, I was thinking of like what to do here, but I just decided to take the rook, even though if it walks into a fork. But the fork is like whatever, because I was going to play queen c7 and take back. But then I realized, well, he's winning a knight. So even though he's sacrificing exchange and then getting another minor piece, and I guess because he has 2 extra pawns, he's still winning. Plus my little king attack is stupid, and he's threatening to come in here. So I bring the rook up to defend my king. And so white is just winning this entire game. And then I kind of tried to, you know, do something, but there was just nothing I could do. Here I have some activity against his queen and king. You know, but he just defended really well. I moved the knight or the bishop to get out of the way so the queen could check. And then I just blundered. I'm supposed to take with the rook. But even if I do, black's not winning anytime soon. White can somehow survive. Plus I'm running out of time. 30 seconds and I just blundered. Yeah, horrible game. I think technically I'm winning at the end there. If I have more time and I don't blunder the queen for no reason. I think black has figured out a way to be winning with Rook d8 it likes. But, I mean, obviously, this is pretty good. Like, black is winning, like, slightly, but not good enough. So, that was my worst game of the day. Then I win. The idea of c3 is to then get a d4. So when he attacks here, I decided to temporarily defend it and then castle, and then the purpose of a4 is to do a b4 and then an a5 and kill this bishop, but he plays a5. And then I attack in the middle, and I've kind of left this pawn hanging. So I didn't really handle this right. But then I decide I'm just going to attack with it so I don't lose it. And then he attacks my bishop. And I am winning here, actually. So it actually did work. This plan worked because I got a tempo on the bishop and then a tempo on the knight. He has to move the knight here. He tries to counterattack my bishop, but this threat is not as strong as mine. Because when I take him, he cannot take back because rook e1 check, I think is what I played. But just taking here is the best move. Because if you take here, it's threatening the rook. And when the rook moves, then you play rook e1 check. And I guess that's better than what I did, which is check first. Then I take. When the king takes, white's winning either way. But then I attack this knight. And there's checks here, but the bishop stops that. But the knight can use that square. The king is terrible here. The only thing I have to watch out for is a knight fork. Queen defends that. Not a big deal. Black is busted here. I just developed the knight. I'm going to develop my bishop to f4, even though I don't know what it's doing there. This is now, everything's connected. And like I said, black's busted. He comes down here. And I just attack it. And I thought he should take here. Because if I take, he has a fork. Let me actually look at this. See, isn't that interesting? That it loves this move. And then the check. It's like, why? Because I thought if I check first, there is no knight block because I take. But it likes recapturing this with the king. If I just take first, it forces a rook move. I still have a check. When he blocks, knight c3. It's just screaming that this is crushing. Yeah. Oh man. Brutal. Anyway, I did it this way. Yeah, I already gave up my advantage here. So best move is b3 or rook e2. Weird. Rook e4 I like. Weird. So knight d3. Oh, okay. Yeah, knights in your business is never good. So it doesn't like that I'm allowing knight here. But anyway, when I play here, if he takes and I take and he forks, it's not good enough because there's a check, and then there's another check, and then there's, well, this move which threatens another check, I guess. What if knight takes, rook takes, c takes? Yeah, the knight's coming in, and this rook is checking. If you go here, Oh, there's that. Yeah. So anyway, he went there and then resigned after g4. He could fight on, but he didn't like the pressure. He didn't see this idea. All right. All right. And then this is my last loss of the day. Oh, I hate this game. So he plays the Scandinavian. I decided to play a4, which probably is stupid. Here I just play d3, knight f3, castle, rook e1. And then I didn't know what to do, so I played a5. He was 20-42. I was on the losing streak, I think. a5 is trying to gain space, but I just didn't have any good plans. I didn't know what to do. He stops any further push. I thought a6 would be good, because if the knight takes, I take, and then I take, and I take, and this pawn's easy. So then I play this idea of the knight in here, trying to get in here. It's just horrible. It just doesn't work. Also, I'm immediately blundering this pawn. He doesn't take it. He goes there, stopping the knight coming in. I play the bishop, defending my pawn, which my rook is blocked. And then I hop in here with the idea of taking back with the rook. And then now no one can stop my knight. That was the idea. But he comes in nicely attacking my rook. But I'm like, okay, well, I'll attack your queen. Everything's defended. But now he's attacking my king. I play h3 because there's a vicious idea of threatening mate and my rook at the same time. So I defend that. But now he has ideas like bishop takes and taking and coming in. It's just really bad. Also, my rook's under attack. I go back though, and the rook's okay here. The knight's over here. I have a fork, but I don't go for it. I first move the knight here to attack his rook. When his rook moves, I think maybe my knight's better here. The knight just sucks. It's just not good. It's just completely out of the game. Prevents his pawns from developing, but that doesn't really matter, because his knight is just far superior to mine. Because his is protecting his king. His is on the king side, and mine's on the queen side. And both our kings are on the king side. So I think that's like a rule. There's only one pair of knights on the board. You want to be on the king side. That's where the kings... You want to be where the kings are. So anyway, he goes back here, pins the pawn. I can't even win anything. I move the king. Now this move killed me. I mean, now I thought he was going to sack, but he just plays this random knight move, and now the knight is just a beast. And I decide to take the bishop, which is the best move, but then, and I saw this check, but I thought, okay, well, prove it, because I'm running, and I'm dropping this pawn, but I'm running. What I didn't see is that my stupid rook, is going to die, and I have to give it up. I have to block this check and let the knight kill it, and then white is actually drawing. It's like totally fine because I'm +2 going into this, but instead I lose the rook for nothing. Lose a pawn, try to get the king out of the way so this rook can come and attack. These bishops are okay. The knight is just horrible though. This knight is such a good piece, phenomenal piece. He wins everything. I come over, I try to just attack the queen perpetually, but somehow he ends up winning he plays queen f2, and I don't see this threat. And yeah, then I'm just screwed. So this was a horrible game. And just so you understand, when I call this bluff, it doesn't even like the fork. It wants queen f3 first. I was just trying to win the game in one move, which is not, it doesn't work against 2000s. But yeah, if I block and he takes and I take, white is drawing here. There's he has 2 rooks, but I have a bishop pair, and yeah, it's 4 pieces to his 3, but his pieces are more powerful. Tricky. Says white's winning, but that's only if he takes. If he does little checks, and you know, I don't know what he would have ended up doing. Oh, he has another check. Yeah. He has perpetual, so it's a draw if he wants it. But I was low on time anyway, maybe, I don't know. So anyway, after that game, I won the rest today. So in this Scandinavian, instead of attacking the queen first, I find more success by being cheeky with it and moving the wrong knight out, because I'm saying, well, your queen's going to have to move anyways, so why not reserve this move and make it come with more venom, because when I attack you with the other knight developed, there's less places to move the queen. So he immediately checks. I block. I'm already going to castle. The Scandinavian defense is terrible, in my opinion. I play it sometimes, though, for fun, but it's not very good. Okay, so we're doing some variation. He has nothing, and then he immediately blunders his queen. I have no idea why. And he blunders everything. Very bizarre game. I don't know if this is I don't know what this is about. Anyway, but black's totally lost already, though, before that, I think. Best move is bishop g4, and he's just losing. There's just nothing going on in this position. He has nothing. Black is already castled, or white is already castled, has the center, has a bishop pair. It's game over. Just don't play chess like that, in my opinion. Okay, next game. So here, very bizarre by him. So this is a Sicilian, very normal, and he plays the knight here instead of here, and I don't even think he plays d4. He instead develops the knight here. The knight is bad here. Some people think that you're being creative or something. The knight, it does not belong here. It needs to fight for the center. Over here, it's just bad, and so I just ignore it, and I actually play a move that prevents it from moving forward and develops my bishop. And I think I have time to play the dragon here because he's wasted 2 moves going to a bad square. So I develop my bishop. He actually can't win the center, so he goes to get my knight. And here I just decide I'm not going to give up this stranglehold on the center. Even though I'm blocking my bishop, I don't care. And now I'm going to play another central move. Just saying, your knight wasted valuable time in the opening. I don't care if you kill this knight. This pawn is defended twice. Move this. Best move, by the way, for the computer is to just take that and lure my queen out, and then actually try to kind of snake in with the knight. It's weird, but instead he does another stupid knight move, and then he does another stupid. This is just horrible chess. I'm sorry. This is just horrible chess. Moves the bishop back unprovoked. Moves the knight here. A castle. Dominant position. He still hasn't even castled. And then he moves the bishop like a 1, 2, 3, a third time. And then here, I just decide to match his energy in the middle. He moves it a 4th time in the opening. So how do I take advantage of this? Well, I just decide to play b5 because I know that I have such advanced pawns that, and his bishop should be there to kill that. So I'm trying to take advantage of that I can even play b5. He castles, and I just decide to play the center forward because if he pushes here, I'm going to take. And then, I don't know. I just thought I need to do something. I need to gain space. So here, I move the queen up. My rooks are connected. Another slow move from him. He's very, very, very cagey here. Not doing much. So I gain even more space. And then now I'm trying to think of which pawn should I push. He comes down here attacking my knight. And my knight's already defended, so I decide I'm going to push another central pawn. Okay, then he moves his queen over here. If I try to kick the bishop now, he just takes because of this battery. But I don't care, I just take here because this is a losing idea because you're moving your queen away from the defense of this pawn, which is attacked twice. The good thing about moving these pawns forward are I have tactical possibilities. Like if this rook develops, I could take here, and then when he takes, I take there. Like there, and if he moves the queen, I take here, and then suddenly this queen can see this pawn, and I take that, and the bishop is under attack. So here I take this way, and then when he takes back, I take this way. This bishop is under attack. The queen is defending it. I've won a pawn with an attack on the bishop. Is it enough for the game? Well, he pins it, so it's tricky. But I have bishop c5, and so I'm hanging on to it. The queen is not good at defending it because this rook is gonna, win. But the bishop at least can. Right now, if he takes, I take back, and if he takes, I take back. He adds a third attacker to it. The queen sideways is better than my queen vertically against a rook. So here I bring a rook to the party. I have 3 defenders. He has 3 attackers. I have this forward pass pawn that'll win me the game if I can defend it. But he has knight e1. And if he moves the knight backwards, I might lose that pawn. But I'm thinking, well, during that process, maybe I can attack this queen. Maybe I can move here. And win this pawn, right? I don't know. He plays this weird move. I actually want to look and see what knight e1 does there. So if knight e1, oh yeah, he has a ridiculous defense here. So takes, yeah, play knight e1 now. He's adding a third attacker, and I have no easy way to defend this. Somehow black is still winning. I don't really understand that. Oh, it's because all I'm losing is a pawn. Yeah, so black just has so much space and activity that even if I lose this pawn, well, I already won a pawn. So technically he's just winning it back. So yeah, black's better here. But knight e1 is the idea. But instead he goes, and knight e1 right away, it's kind of just the same thing. White's a little better there. Anyway, he goes this way, and I just decide, okay, well, now I'm attacking your bishop. And if you take me, I take back, and now I protect my pawn. So I don't know why he does that. But he wanted to get out of the attack, because if I move the queen somehow with a threat, like over here, this pawn is a real threat to take, because there's no pin anymore. So that's why he actually moves. But because I attack, he takes, I take. Now this is fortified. This is game over, in my opinion. I mean, he can still defend, but only if he's a computer. He plays bishop over there. I play the queen over here. It's actually crazy that this doesn't work for black. He goes there. I take. So here, this is crazy, right? He's defending this pawn. If I win that pawn, these pawns are queening. There's tension between our bishops. So I take to lure the queen away. And then I win here. And black is busted here because of knight f5. And there's a checkmate here. And I can't take because there's another check. And he's winning this pawn. Or this knight. So he gets his knight back with check. And then he's just better. So I'm actually in huge trouble here. And I'm winning if I don't take, which is my plan. But I'm supposed to play the rook up first to secure this third rank. I do eventually play that move. But first, he attacks my queen. I move it. And my plan was like, can I get on this diagonal, move my rook, and get my queen in here and just stop any mates? So I knew I was in trouble. And then here, he just didn't see... He didn't see knight f5 and then the check. He thought, I'll put my queen here first so that knight f5 he can't take. But you actually want me to take if you're white. So now I defend the knight. He attacks my queen. I move. He comes down with threats on the second rank that are not really there yet. So I just move the pawn. Best move. This is an exciting game where his stupid knights are actually kind of good. Anyway, he plays the rook here, defended by the queen. Stopping my pawn, kind of. I attack it. He goes back. I attack again. Calculated all this. You cannot take because I'll just queen. He takes with the idea that his queen protects, but that allows a queen with a check. He has to move, and now the knight actually defends everything. So although I got a queen, he has enough activity to where, and I only have 2 minutes, it's not kind of clear. So I actually lose the game on the spot. First I make a decent move, which is here, interestingly enough, the best move is to kill this god level knight. Because I have 2 queens, just sack the queen for the knight, and then when he takes back, I win a rook. So I'm winning a rook and a knight for a queen that I didn't even need. And so that's the way to play. But instead, you know, I'm thinking I don't like rook takes, because if rook takes, there's queen takes, and then there's checkmating ideas. I don't want to lose this knight. And if queen takes, there's knight takes, and then I can't take back without losing this knight. Black's still winning there, but I decide, what if I just play the queen back and kind of threaten f2, maybe? Just kind of bring the queen back, because sometimes the queen dies like that, you know, and just let the queens be defending each other so that if one of them dies, the other one can come back. And you know, I'm also defending this pawn, which was double attacked. So that's the idea. So he comes in though, knight f5 finally hits. And then I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? I actually lose the game on one move here with taking the rook. Because at this point, once I got my queen out of there, and he plays knight f5, I'm like, well, I don't want to get checkmated. Let me just real quick take. And if he takes back, then I can take his knight. And if he takes back with this knight, then I can take on f2. That's the plan. The plan is eliminate the defender of f2. Once my queen's on f2, I can deliver checkmates in the back row and stuff like that. But by taking here, he has a perpetual check now with knight check. So this would be a way for him to save the game. And then I cannot go in the corner because he takes, and it's checkmate. Because my rook has stopped defending my knight. And if I go up, he has this knight f5 check. And it's just a perpetual, check where if I ever go there, it's checkmate. So he does not see that, and he takes my rook. So then I spot that I'm kind of like vulnerable, and I play this move. So at least I want a rook. I don't worry about winning this knight back. I just play knight h4. Now my knight defends any checks, and my theory was normally I'm not playing knight over here because he will attack with the pawn, and then when I move, I'm vulnerable. But now if he moves this pawn, I'm coming in with a check and then a mate. So if we can exchange queens, I win the game. So any check is going to be devastating. So he cannot move this pawn, which means my knight can just sit here and protect against a mate. So it also defends against the perpetual idea now because the knight defends the square that it was on. So he moves a pawn, and then he moves the pawn that was under attack, but I just decided to pretend he didn't and go there anyways. And the idea now I'm thinking of is I can actually sack the queen. Like let's say he goes here. I was looking at ideas like this, where if the queen takes, the queen takes. But the knight can take. So I don't actually have that queen trade idea. So I play queen f2, and then he here attacks my queen over here, but then I play queen c1 and it's mate in 6. Queen c1 with the idea of checkmate here. So he does a check, and I move in the corner because he can't check me. He can't stop checkmate. And if he checks me here, I will take with the rook. And there's no check in the back row because of this hero knight. So he kills it, and then I checkmate him. But also he can never move this pawn because I pinned it. Oh yeah, I was looking at why didn't I consider this move? If I go here, well, you can just check. Basically, I have to go here eventually. And then, what if he did this? And then if I take, then he comes down here. The king is alive. Anyway, that's that one. And then my final game is my first game I showed you. 24 move, mate in 1 threat, unavoidable, versus 2100. See, ignore. So this is the first knight. First I sacrifice a pawn, then I sacrifice a knight with the idea of killing his bishop. Then he takes en passant, I sack the knight again. So that's just no respect for my knight on f3 because my queen wants to use that for a check on h5. And then I win the bishop on c5. develop my bishop, win his pawn, win his knight, win his queen, develop normally, trade, Nimzovich, my system, game over. So yeah, that's it.